So just going to move, and it's very connected to our sharing and won't go away really, just to say a little bit about the place of supervision for this ministry of discernment in common. So peer supervision or forms of supervision for the facilitators. And we're going to offer a focus on peer supervision in this program. But of course, you will have experience of other forms where you have a trained supervisor who might work with you individually as a spiritual director or when you're giving the exercises. And that might be a very good way forward for you and your team. However, in this time together, we thought we wanted to have a taste of a peer group experience. And just stepping back to what we were talking about, for me at Salamanca, the start we prayed with the widow's mite was the reading of the day. And we had that beautiful image of the hands and the 2 coins. And out of her poverty, she gave her all. And that moved me very much and encouraged me. And we've been talking about the not quite, complete, perfect, time-pressured discernments that can happen, but to kind of know my poverty, our poverty, and yet we can give our all in that. So I think knowing our attachments personally, where will I get hooked when I'm facilitating, and then to know that and trust one another with that is really powerful. So thinking about peer supervision, and I recognize a lot of experience in this room. So this is not definitive, it's offering something, and it would be good to hear from you. So this was an important naming in Salamanca when we got to the end and we were trying to come up with our plans and land the plane, as John Dardis was encouraging us to, that we must go forward with this support of supervision in some manner. And that's because it's going to provide us with a safe space as facilitators. We are working very much together, not alone, but in teams. So it's a safe space, and a brave is often used for supervision. It's a place of brave conversations because they're vulnerable and contemplative to explore our practice, increase self-awareness, and also our ethical standards. Are we behaving appropriately in our ministry and ensuring that safety for all involved? So the supervision is helping us be fully present to the group we're accompanying and to the process of discernment, so our accountability to the ministry and the group. So I'd like to suggest that for us, the supervision is focusing on the facilitator. Of course, when we're learning something new, we're wanting skills and all of that, and that they have their place, but not to jump over what's my experience, what's going on for me, so that I can become a better facilitator. So I'm going to be preparing by reflecting and praying on what was my experience, even in our conversations today, the ones that some of you have facilitated. The small spiritual conversations, what was that like? What was I feeling and noticing in myself? And what might I still be hanging on to and holding in my body? Is there a tension and anxiety, a fear of, oh God, I really didn't do that very well, or wonder, because that was extraordinary. So just getting in touch with one's own particular experience, not just at the level of skills, but what as Ian said, what's my gut telling me, my heart? And we can use the spiritual conversation process for this peer supervision, where we prepare with some reflection and prayer. We have a listening round, and we come to see what's emerging for me, what's emerging for us as a team in this work. So just to think about how we situate ourselves in this work and what is the duty of care and the flow. In the contemplatio, the giving and receiving, the reciprocity that Ignatius comes to understand is how God loves and love operates. So it's a bit the same in this ministry. So here we are working in a team, and we're part of this ministry, and we are working with the group that we're facilitating. So there's a very strong relationship here. But really we're doing this work because we want to help these people, the community being served in this discernment. And we probably don't know them or even see them. They're kind of out the door and beyond us. But all this work we're doing is really serving here. And of course, it's even in a much bigger context, isn't it? So to dare to imagine the rippling, the flow of our offering a process to this group that will really ripple out and go way beyond us, but even in a small way, has that possibility. So the peer supervision is very nurturing and life-giving for all, and especially to support the team and work together. It has a sort of discerning dimension as we contribute and learn together that's flowing back into the ministry. What are we learning from those we are accompanying? What are we learning together? So just a few purposes. They're not necessarily original, but they apply to us perhaps thinking of our work as facilitators of discernment in common. And it's all about strengthening our service of those who engage for their service of others in their context. So yeah, it's a reflective practice with the importance of self-awareness, knowing my strengths, knowing where I get hooked, like the question around sensitivity. You know, what am I going to do with that sensitivity? Am I going to kind of lose track because I'm moving from something that I get hooked about? It's my default, may not be appropriate. So it can help us notice where we're present and what might be getting in the way. And good to name that. It's so healthy to be able to name that. And in the supervision context, there's trust and support. So it's a safe place to be able to notice and name that. So growing in awareness. So we want this space of supervision to be a safe one for us and hospitable, welcoming, encouraging, because it's going to hold our vulnerability, and then that can free up how we work with the groups. I'm sure some of you will know, when you bring something to supervision, it can somehow loosen a knot or untie it, that if you're struggling or something happening with a directee and you take that to your own supervision, curiously, that issue can resolve without you actually directly dealing with it. So we want to grow in our capacity and ease as facilitators. So it's a place where we're invited to look at our blind spots. What am I not looking at? What am I avoiding? And what we might be hanging on to a bit tightly. So in order to grow. Yeah. So through the process over time, not just little one-off moments, but over time, we hope we're developing wisdom, just like we're sharing in these days, which will enhance our skill as we facilitate, and also provide insight, which we share and will be revealed to us for complex situations. Supervision is very much about gaining insight. I'm noticing, I'm wondering, and then insight. Now I realize. And of course, yes, it's deepening our spiritual life as facilitators working together and for our ministry, because we're really seeking to trust the Spirit and recognize the Spirit and trust the movement of the Spirit. Yes, so there's another dimension of safe, good practice, isn't it? So it's holding us accountable the ministry and this new apostolate is so much bigger than the little team working in that particular context, however important that is. So it's bringing us to always attending to the ethical dimensions so that we maintain good boundaries and care for ourselves, our own well-being, and those we are serving. Yeah, so it's a supportive and encouraging dimension to always attend to and to think about this. It can be hard. It's more time. How are we going to fit this in? How are we going to do this? Where are we going to do this? But by doing it, we are contributing to one another and building wisdom for this ministry and those we serve.